Good day to all the members of the tax faculty. My name is Talitha Muade. I'm from the Office of the Tax Ombud. I'm the Senior Manager responsible for complaints resolution. On the 7th of March, I'm excited because I'll be hosting a webinar in collaboration with the tax faculty, where we will be unpacking some of the following points that are related to dispute resolution, systemic issues, debt management, verification, SARS Complaints Management Office, and when to lodge a complaint with the Office of the Tax Ombud, and also many other issues that might arise from today until the 7th of March that we might find to be of interest to you as taxpayer representatives. We will be dealing with the right to object and to appeal and finalization within reasonable time. We also will be unpacking when and how does a tax dispute arise, when may a taxpayer lodge a complaint about a tax dispute at the SARS CMO or at the tax ombud. It's important that as practitioners, we know when and how to lodge these complaints properly, and the time frames are very important. So I'll be unpacking those. Reasons for an assessment, what is that? How do you request reasons for assessment? And does a taxpayer need to pay the amount of tax in dispute? We know that there's a rule that says pay now, argue later. I'll be unpacking that using the examples of the complaints that we have received and reviewed. Also, we'll be unpacking objecting to an assessment, who objects, when do you object, and how do you do it successfully so that SARS doesn't say your objection is invalid. We'll be discussing those nitty-gritties. Also, we are going to be discussing what must SARS do with an objection when they receive it, and what they need to do by when, what are the time frames that we as practitioners need to know. What should happen when SARS does not deal with an objection that has been lodged on time within the prescribed time period? Do you have rights as a taxpayer? And what can you do if you find yourself in that situation? We'll be unpacking that. Also, if SARS disallows an objection or alters it, the assessment in a manner that does not satisfy you as a taxpayer, do you have rights? Is there anything that you can do? We'll be discussing that. What is an alternative dispute resolution? Who initiates it and how it works? We are going to be discussing that as well, and we'll be linking it with the complaints that we have reviewed from our office. Also, we're going to be discussing the monetary thresholds for the ADRs because it's important to know which amounts relate to what and go where. What are the rights and obligations of parties during the ADR process? And also from the complaints that we have received, the lessons that we have learned from the mistakes that others did in the ADR process, we're going to be sharing with you some of the things that we feel that if you could do, they might work in your favor. For example, the attitude that one brings to the ADR process. We'll share with you from the experiences that we had with cases that we had. What are systemic issues and when do they arise? That's a topic that we all like at the Office of the Tax Ombud, and we'll be unpacking that. And we're also going to be discussing the current systemic issues that are on the list of the Tax Ombud, how are complaints relating to identified systemic issues treated by the Office of the Tax Ombud, by SARS, and also by you as a taxpayer? When you have a complaint that fits into the description of an identified systemic issue of the Office of the Tax Ombud, what should you do? What process you should follow? That we will also be discussing. And I'm sure as practitioners, you are interested to know in the current list of systemic issues so that it saves you time. You don't have to go to the SARS CMO. So come tune in and listen as I'll be sharing with you the latest list of the systemic issues. Also, how to submit a possible systemic issue for the consideration of the Office of the Tax Ombud. Sometimes we get taxpayers who would say, I think my issue is a systemic issue that needs to be investigated by the Office of the Tax Ombud. So I'll be discussing with you how to submit such, where do you submit it, and when should we say this is a possible systemic issue that could be considered by the Office of the Tax Ombud for further investigation. What lessons have we learned from the previous systemic investigations that the office embarked on? Was there any value for taxpayers from those systemic investigations that were done? And did SARS benefit anything from that? We're going to be sharing with you some of the success stories from what the office has done. Furthermore, we are also going to discuss in depth the debt management process and also what you need to know about debt management, about debt payment arrangements. When do you request a write-off if you qualify, and when do you request for SARS, and how you ask SARS to assist you with arranging for a payment for a tax debt that is not in dispute. And also what you do when you have a debt that you are disputing. We're going to be discussing all that and many more, including verification. Because we have received a number of complaints from taxpayers and practitioners who argued with us about the time frames that SARS takes to finalize their verification after SARS has received their documents. And also we're going to be discussing some of the things that are currently happening. As we know, is COVID, and SARS is not able to meet taxpayers in person in some branches. We're going to be discussing with you how do you verify your banking details, for example, when you don't go to the office of SARS branches, because now they have facilities that enables us as taxpayers to be able to verify our banking details while we are sitting at home, which is something that is exciting. So we're going to be sharing with you a little bit of how technology can make our lives much, much more easier when it comes to our tax affairs. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking forward to have you on the 7th of March, as I will be untaking all these points that I've discussed in detail. Thank you very much. See you on the 7th. Thank you. Bye-bye.